Oh, here we go. Now we're live. So, I'm not gonna show you my camera woman though. Ooh, identity's a secret.
Why do you say it like that?
Because it's funny.
No, it was funny on YouTube when.
We are on YouTube.
Oh, that was YouTube.
No, this is YouTube. Did you bring the mic?
It's in the trunk.
Peace.
It's a mic.
The mic is a mic. Peace.
Yeah, but you want like some karaoke mic?
No, I wanted the clip mic.
3.5.
I wanted the clip.
That's the one I bought.
That's the
And
one.
that whole
And then you were like, I'm not even going to explain it to you.
Because
But that's the
he
one that I
brought
wanted.
such a
I know he
beautiful,
brought.
big sound system
I know.
that does not that's not for computer stuff.
How's everyone doing?
So we'll have to buy adapters.
We're on the way to the library. I don't know how to turn this camera. I don't think you can rotate this camera on an iPhone. But anyway, we're on our way to the library. We're in a car. Traveling. This is downtown Narragansett with a brand Providence, Rhode Island. Downtown. Can y'all hear me? Oh, there it is. Found it. That's how you rotate it. We're alive.
Do you want
There
to
we
show
go.
them that you always drive with your stash?
Well, oh, we
Some
stay strapped.
information.
Well, yeah, no, mine.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
mine. I don't want to show that. On our way to the law library, that is an obelisk, sundial. You can tell what time it is. And watch when you see the quote-unquote Superior Court building slash district. That building right there. No, it's not this one. It's the next one. You never know where you're going. That is where the law library is. That is also Supreme. I mean, what do they call it? Yeah, so they call it Superior slash Supreme Court. So that's where they be robbing people. And then the U.S. District Court. That's not it, right?
District Court?
Yeah.
No, it's a couple buildings back.
What's
Over this way.
It's up here. You won't be able to see it. It's literally right across from Kennedy Plaza.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, don't worry
District
about it.
Court. I thought you meant 6th District.
Nah, not 6th District. District.
District Court.
Yeah, that's how they be playing people.
Oh,
So we're.
man. There's lucky.
What are they doing here? Oh, water fire? Oh, so good. We get to show them this district court. U.S. District Court is right there. Right there. You don't got the camera? You good. Damn, they blocked this one too?
Yeah.
Um, so the court I just showed you, that gray building,
Oh, you gonna put me on tape?
is the building that they're supposed
No.
to hear Moors in.
McDonald's.
Because we're not U.S. citizens.
We
So
don't eat
again,
McDonald's,
when you read the hadiths of Noble Drew Ali, he said, Moors, you were living up and down the Mississippi before any European got here. So if that's true, which it is, then that means we're indigenous, meaning we're from here, which most likely means we're also Aboriginal because we're the original people of the planet. So since we know that the Europeans are foreigners, which even when they give us their warped version of history, they admit that they're pilgrims, so they're not from here. So that is diversity. Now, they tricked us into thinking that we're black, and then tricked us into thinking that the 14th Amendment was constitutional, which tricked us into thinking that we're U.S. citizens, when this country existed prior to the colonies got here and formed their union and then called themselves the United States. So since the Europeans formed themselves as the United States is foreign. Since they're foreign, they don't have jurisdiction over us. So it's diversity of citizenship. Right? Then we do research on the Constitution. It talks about peace. It talks about diversity of citizenship in council courts. Said at Article 3, right? So, knowing that your nationality determines your political status, and that no nation has jurisdiction over another nation, knowing that the Europeans are foreign, knowing what our nationality is, we know that we're not U.S. citizens, so they can't talk to us in regular court. It has to be federal court. Does that make sense? Yay or nay? Then, when you read Title 18, subsection 1332, it says do not enter. That's not what it says. I was reading the sign. It'll tell you when you read it that only United States district courts. Which court do you take proclamation to? You don't take proclamations to European courts because they're not Moors. So, as I was saying, when you read 1332, it'll tell you that United States district courts have jurisdiction over diversity. Now, that's not saying that they have jurisdiction over you. They're saying they have jurisdiction over their party, who has the diverse citizenship towards the other party. Does that make sense? So, if a Chinese man has any issues with European here in Morocco, which they call America, then the court is district court, which turns it into consular court. Does that make sense?
This man doesn't wait for the light to turn green to cross.
Oh look, all the questions here we go. I wasn't seeing them before. What's good? Can everyone hear me? Which court do you take proclamation to? Oh, look at the State House. That's where we did the State of the State, at the State House. Where are we going?
Everything's blocked off.
So,
Everything. So
turn
I'm
back
trying
around.
to figure out a way. All those streets out one way.
I know, but
blocked off.
remember when you said, is it this way? And I said, no, try going that way, because that wasn't blocked off. That was literally the only one that wasn't blocked off. And that's not the way to go. Any other questions? Share this on Facebook, please. Peace. Why is it so complicated to do on a phone? No. Why you don't know? Don't go right. Wait.
Yeah. Why don't you do what you're doing?
Shut up.
And I'll do what I'm doing.
No meeting today. Yes, we are meeting today at the law library. I thought you were part of the group chat. We're meeting at 250 Benefit Street on the 8th floor. Right. What's the topic today? Well, right now I'm just going over, we just went over diversity real quick. Feel free to ask any questions, but we're going into the law library to do, we're going over some trust stuff that we have to deal with our body, our adult society. And we're going to go over some codes of conduct, so we won't be able to go like live, because we have to, what's it called? We have to decide on things, and we don't want anything that's not final to be out there like this is what we're doing. So. Oh yeah, you can turn around already. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. What's the time? Your sons can tell. If you got children, bring them. Noble Dryly said children, even babies, can be part of adoptive chambers. It's just when they start to cry, then they have to leave. Will you record it and put it up later? Are you driving with the license plate on your vehicle? I'm not driving at all. One hand's holding the phone, the other one is right here. I'm not driving.
It's a Tesla.
I'm using my mind to do. Hold on, I'm trying to answer your questions, but the chat keeps fading away. Oh, there it is. Will you record it, put up later? I'll put this video up. And yeah. Any other questions? Islam, peace. That is the U.S. District Court right there. Right there. That gray building right there. That's the post office. And that's the District Court. As soon as I became proper persona, the so-called inferior courts have me come to the courts that's pertaining to their policy and rules dealing with divorce. What? Any issue, whether in fact or in law, between any Moor and any European, period. Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Criminal, civil, equity. You tie your shoelaces wrong. It is consular courts because it is diversity of citizenship. But to even get inside of a district court, you need identification. So you cannot go inside a district court to challenge jurisdiction, or any court to challenge jurisdiction, and have a European ID, being a driver's license, whatever. So if you're an improper person, you might want to have your proper ID. What's the name of the street it's on? The name of the street that this library is in is Benefit Street, right near Brown University. When we look up Brown University, look at their crest, and it is the crest of the Inquisition. And when you read the Bible, it says, if possible, he'll fool even the most elite. So what do you think you're going to their schools and learn something? They'll fool him right in your face. Oh look, Brown University. See that crest right there? The shield, the cross. That is a Knights Templar crest. That is the crest of the Inquisition. And then this bank has a dome on it. Kind of looks like a mosque. Here is Providence County Courthouse, Supreme and Superior Court, quote unquote. It's a beautiful building though. Right in people's faces, yep. Emphasize on the face. No, the court you pointed out. Oh, district court? Damn. I can't remember the name of the street. But if you go down to the plaza, is it Dorn Street? It's not Dorn Street. Not U.S. District Court.
Oh, not that one.
Yeah, no. Let me get my stuff. I don't know why you dropped this off up here.
No, I'm dropping you off. I want to get my nephew certificate.
Oh, dropping me off, abandoning me.
Yes.
Leave me stranded.
Yeah. Let me know
If they beat me up. I'm on my way to the library. Last time we came here, they wouldn't let us in. I don't know why. I gotta hide my water because they don't let us take water. What? What? We have to go on downstairs. These doors are always closed. I thought you knew that. Go. Go. So I gotta sneak my water in. Because they don't allow water inside. Another library. This is the Supreme Court and Superior Court. I'll be traveling out of the country soon. Have my proclamation and name correction as well as that card. What issues can I expect rising to travel on a flight without a U.S. passport? You can expect them to say what ID. How can I obtain your book? You can get my book on riseofthemoors.org. Please give my regards to the sister. I just left the car. You can get my book, riseofthemoors.org. See what other questions did I miss? Yeah, Benefit Street, yep. I was in the law library. I've seen so many, so that's not grammatically correct. old buildings.
Hello.
How you doing?
Oh, great.
What time is it?
It's
38.
10:40. Yeah, whatever.
How you doing?
Great. You wouldn't mind signing out after.
Through security. Eighth floor. Let me see what questions I missed. Yeah, early. Would you make copies for everybody?
I made as many copies as I could. I made sure I made one for Poet, Joel, you, and Chusa. Issa, I seen him the other day. I told him.
Is everyone still here? We're in the law library. The connection's kind of bad. I had to put my phone down to go through security, so that's why I went dark. Water in.
Are you smoking?
Oh, for real?
Okay, coffee, whatever.
Oh yeah. She was kind.
She's very, very nice.
Yeah. Some of the European men be like, you can't bring that water in here. Like it's water.
Yeah, you
So,
hold
you
it
know,
then.
meeting up with some Moors. Let me set up this. Let me set this up. It's a little camera thing, so I'm gonna hold it the whole time.
All right.
Let me know how y'all day was going, huh?
Tripod?
Yeah. How's everyone's day going? Oh yeah, you can donate. You can donate to us. Our PayPal, Gmail is riseofthemoors@gmail.com for the group. My personal Gmail is jamalsflicks@gmail.com. And the Cash App one is $ Rise of the Moors. I'm like 70% sure on that one. Let me set this up. I'll answer other questions as soon as I get this right. Hold it sideways. Cool. Volume just went all the way down. Y'all still hear me? Let's see other questions. All right, cool. Everyone's still here? See if they got some candy. So I'm about to go get a treaty book. It's a book of treaties, a bunch of treaties. Treaty with Great Britain, treaty with Morocco, of course. Here it is. It's a good book. It has a bunch of treaties in here. Let me show you up here. And every time I come here, we're the only Asiatics, except for there's a guy that works in an office over there, and then there's a librarian who's also Asiatic. But as far as like studying goes, we'd be the only Asiatics in here. So they got Black's Law Dictionary in here. Black's Laws. They don't have the 4th edition, of course. It's the best one, but no one can ever say these Europeans don't know. You know what I mean? They got the treaty book right here, and I'll show you. You know, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, Treaty of Tripoli, Treaty of Algiers, Treaty of Tunis. It says the word Moor right in it. So any European or any so-called conscious black leader or whatever talking about rights and shit like that, it's right in the book. Right in the book. I just want to give a shout out to my brother Mikhail over here putting in work, making copies for everybody. You know, this is the exercise of the Quran, you know, the chapter on unity. You know what I'm saying? Every living thing is bound together to every other living thing, so he got some paperwork for himself and he decided to share. Then, you know, when you read the chapter on unity, every man was given their own measure of wisdom, so he was wise enough to make everyone a copy. He wasn't asked to do this. Then when you look at, you know, learning about the higher self and lower self, if you look, you know, if you're looking for your savior, his name is self. So if you desire for our people to get out of this, you're going to save yourself, and that will help save you. So instead of like people making videos talking crap about what others are not doing, how about you just do the work?
People are supposed to do this themselves, and nobody's supposed to be in groups of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's one thing to hear subsection 1 dash, but it's another thing to read it, and I don't know if everybody has that, so that's why I printed it up.
Yeah. So the brother's commented on how, you know, because he knows man knows not by being told. That's what he's exercising. So he made copies for everybody so they can read papers themselves if they don't have access to a printer. My head's looking crazy. If they don't have access to printers or whatever, he was kind enough to do, you know, the work for them in a way. It's just up to them to read on their own. So exercising, demonstrating. So let me get into this book. How does Moor go about pilot license? I don't know any Moorish pilots who teach people how to fly planes. Las Vegas. Beautiful day in Khalifa. Cool. Good day in Texas. Great. How does one go? I mean, right now, from what I know, you got to go to the Europeans to get a pilot license. So let me show you the front of this book. by the authority of Congress, public statutes at large of the United States of America from the organization of the government in 1789 to March 3rd, 1845, arranged in chronological order with reference to the matter of each act and to the subsequent acts on the same subject, and copious notes of the decisions of the courts of the United States, construing those acts and upon the subjects of the laws, with an index to the context of each volume and a full general index to the whole work in the concluding volume, together with the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the Constitution of the United States. Now that's key because in Article 6 of the Constitution, it says all of these things apply. The treaties, the Declaration of Independence, and the Articles of Confederation. And also tables in the last volume containing lists of the acts relating to the judiciary impost and tonnage, the public lands, etc., edited by Richard Peter Esquire. And in this book, you will see treaties of the United States and foreign nations. Which one is this? Treaty with France, 1778. Treaty with France. Treaty with the Netherlands. Treaty with the Netherlands, 1782. Treaty with all provisional articles with Great Britain, 1782. Treaty with Sweden, 1783. And look how old this book is. It smells old too. Treaty with Britain, 1783. Treaty of Amity and Commerce between His Majesty the King of Persia and the United States, 1785. So we already know what's about to show up in 1786. If you were Moor, you might want to know. Let's turn this page. 1785, right? Then 1786, 1787, Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States of America and His Imperial, it doesn't say King, Imperial Majesty, the Emperor of Morocco. So if it's Imperial and Emperor, then you're dealing with an empire, not a kingdom, right? Then let's just, so this is it in the law book, in the law library. So any black leader saying we ain't Moors, you already know their agenda. And look, it says Moor right there, right in the law book, right in the law library. So anyone saying we ain't Moors, they're smoking something. Or they're against their own people. So here's the treaty. Right? Just like Drew Ali said, go to those who know law. Look, this page is ripped. It's crazy. People flipping through the pages. This is why we can't have nice things. Alright, Treaty with Morocco. The proof's in the pudding. Tag your local black leader in this. Have them answer why it says Moor in the law dictionary, in this law book, and not black. Try to get some of these questions. What else? Any other questions? Did y'all ever get a response now that the U.S. has stepped down from the UN? A response from who? The UN? If you're asking for that response, we haven't sent them a letter yet. To date. Any other questions? Let me set up before people get here. I'll probably mess up, move, and then tear this out.
I think that's a microphone. Check it out.
Yeah, hold on, let me see. I'm about to plug this mic in. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Oh, nah, this is too small. Yeah, never mind. This won't fit in the aux thing. So if y'all want to donate a mic to me, let me know. Huh?
Joel got something. Yeah, he got something already.
Yeah, he gave it to her already.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We're just waiting for her and Desmond to come through.
Speak
They went
the
to
words,
get
set
Desmond
it
and
up.
son some food.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for any other Moors talking crap about Moors not teaching whatever or not, how come these Moors ain't doing this? How come they ain't doing that? If you see a void, why don't you fill it?
Exactly.
And then, if you listen to any of these people, how come they're only doing videos with only them in the room? How come there's no other people in the room with them? I wonder why. How come they're saying these other Moors aren't doing this and aren't doing that, but they can't show you proof of nothing? I wonder
That's,
why.
that's so they can field their questions and answer the ones that they want.
Yeah.
And not everybody who has a question.
It's easy to ask yourself a question and then answer it. But I'm looking for an outlet. Come on this adventure with me. It's very difficult to answer a question and try to make it make sense to someone else. Because remember, in the Quran, it talks about how everyone has their own measure of wisdom, their own measure of comprehension. So if you're a teacher and or you claim to know something and you can't explain it, then clearly you're a teacher. Clearly, no one should listen to you. Peace. My question is, who is the emperor now? If there was one then there should be one now. If the bloodlines are the same, then the same royal emperor family should be here now. Well, just because you're of royal blood does not mean you have rights to be an emperor. Right? Then, there's a difference between the Kingdom of Morocco and the Emperor of Morocco, right? So, was it not the Moorish nation that got, dismantled? When black people talk about reparations, it was the Moorish nation that got, destroyed. Now, not destroyed as in we were wiped out, but destroyed as in we lost our connection and our knowledge of our nationality. So what Drew Ali did was he restored our knowledge, but not everyone knows, because we still got people going to European schools still thinking that they're black. We still got family members that think that they're black. So how can we possibly have a sultan if not everyone who shares the same national bloodline as us is not woke? #woke. So then you got people, because right now you already got people claiming to be this and claiming to be that and can't prove that they were either elected or appointed. So we're still dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? That's a great question though. And like Riley said, sheiks are born, not made. So if sheiks are born and not made, then that would mean a sultan would be born and not made. Right? Alright, so I got this set up. Any other questions? Peace. How do I go about getting a national name? What I did was I looked up the name that my mother gave me, which fortunately enough, Jamal is an Asiatic name. Then I looked up the rest of the names, and then I think I just Googled Arabic name meanings. So I looked up, like, let's say my name was Smith, right? So I look up what the definition of Smith is, because every name means something. Then let's say Smith means royal or whatever. So Smith means royal. I'm gonna go up, look up Arabic names, and find a name in Arabic that means the same thing. That's how I went about
Well, Michael,
correcting my
name
name.
is the same as Michael in Arabic. So
Yeah.
somebody would say, if their name is Michael, they would look up the meaning, and then it would shoot them to Michael.
Yeah. Well, even your name, Mikhail, is Michael. Michael. So Mikhail is the same thing. It's just pronounced different. So like a lot of our names are already Asiatic. You know what I mean? You just gotta. Yeah, but my mom put an H in it. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit. It's a different Jamal. Your name means Hebrew. That's pretty cool. So that emperor is born of a particular bloodline. No, not necessarily. Because we're all Moors, so it's the same bloodline. With the U.S. stepping down from the UN, do you think that will make things a bit more challenging for us Moors since the rights of indigenous people? No, it wouldn't make things difficult because we are supposed to enforce the rights of indigenous people because we're the indigenous people. Our mission doesn't change. The same mission that Drew Ali put us on is the same mission that we're on: enforce the Constitution, uplift on humanity. It doesn't matter what the U.S. does; it matters entirely what we do. Jamal, what happened to you after the unlawful arrest? I'm right here. I exist. Did you sue? No, I did not sue. Did you have to pay to get your vehicle outpounded? I didn't pay anything. Oh, your name comes from Hebrew. I didn't pay anything, and I'm here in the flesh. So, and I already went over it. I already went over that situation. You're changing. You're not changing your name. You're correcting your name. You know who Moreno Bay is. I know of him. I don't know him personally. Any other questions? Alright, so I got this plugged in. I need to plug this in. So I added onto our trust. I added just some like regulate like since we have the right to rights of indigenous people says we have the right to educate our own children, and then Noble Drew Ali said every temple must have a school. So I'm putting in our trust that we have the right to issue degrees to our people. Like, okay, you got a degree in this knowledge. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And
Yep,
since
that
we have the
makes
right
sense.
to educate our own people, we have the right to hire our own teachers. Because if quote unquote black people keep complaining about our miseducation, how about we educate ourselves and stop relying on Europeans to do it?
Mm-hmm.
I put that in the trust. What else? But they're a figurehead. 1,000 Moors can't sit in one seat. Someone has to represent us. In order for that to happen, in order for someone to represent us, like entirely, there has to be bays in to each other. Just like the so-called president of the United States represents all of the union of the colonies, it's because the colonies have united, and there's a substitute bay in each territory. So like Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Delaware, etc. All of them agreed to be under one body. They all agreed. Agreed. There's some Moors who say, well, those Moors aren't teaching this, and those Moors aren't. We can't even come to an agreement yet. So although you're right, it's just our people still like to be divided for some reason. How can we support? You can support me by, buying my book. You can go to riseofthemoors.org, or you can donate. My PayPal email is jamalsflicks@gmail.com. You can donate mics, you can donate cameras, all of that support. Anything you can think of.
Books.
You got books, you can give us books.
Paper, ink, all.
Yeah, ink, exactly. Paper, ink, ink pads, envelopes. You know what I mean? There's a lot of administrative work that gets done and that goes into this. What was just telling about calling himself black, told him as part of the miseducation of our people. Great point. Also, if you want to show anyone that we're not black, go to etymonline.com. It gives you the etymology. Then put in black, and it'll tell you it means pale. So that's another way to do it. And then another way to teach our people that they're Aboriginal and Indigenous, you can go to the Inter-American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, 97. Is this hold on, I think it might be inverted because I got it on like my face. So let's do this. There we go. Draft of the Inter-American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, approved in 1997, right? Then I've done this many times. It's necessary, right? It says in this declaration, so this also pertains to black people, right? In this declaration, indigenous people are those who embody historical continuity with societies which existed prior to their conquest and settlement of their territories by Europeans. So proof that Europeans are already foreigners here, right? As well as peoples brought involuntarily to the New World who freed themselves in cultures from which they've been torn. So our people think that they were shipped here as, sardines. So even if you think you were shipped here, you're still considered an indigenous person. And then when you read the rights of indigenous people and Declaration on Human Rights and Rights of a Child, it says we have the right to a nationality because nationality determines your political status and your rights. Then when you read rights of indigenous people, it says we can't be forced out of our lands, our homes, which means Section 8, Section 8, so they can't kick you out of that. And then since you have the right to your land and resources, tell them to quit rent, so you ain't paying rent. Then if you live in a house, tell Europeans to quit their claim, create the title, etc., 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 blah, 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 blah. But we need unity for that, because right now, how many, there's like 20 people, right? 20 Moors, we have like 20 Moors.
Oh, online, yeah, all right.
No, I'm talking about in our
Yeah,
group.
class,
Yeah.
we're lucky.
Yeah, so
Get everybody here.
yeah, when we get everyone here, there's about 20 Moors, and not everyone has their, nationality card, and can't prove besides bloodline and what they look like. But if let's say if we wanted to all go to U.S. District Court, not everyone get in that building because not everyone has their nationality card. So we also dealing with stuff like that too. Please, and you're in a certain territory, please comment where you're from so all the Moors can link up. How much is your book? Go to the website. Go to the website, riseofthemoors.org, and you'll see the prices. Please support the good brother. If you can spend a pair of kitties for every day. Yeah, for real. If we can buy shoes, we can buy, legal paper. If we can go watch a movie, then we can go and pay dues at a temple. I don't know. Priorities, right? Michigan, peace. Who else? I don't know why these comments won't stay up. That book is essential, all in one place. Are you talking about my book? Thank you. If you're talking about my book, that's like just like a reference book. You know what I mean? You get history, you get law, you get like that. Women, I talked about a few women in my family, so I put a lot of thought into that book. Even though there's a lot of grammatical errors, the second print of my book, I went over a lot of the grammatical errors. I wouldn't say I fixed all of them because nothing is 100%. But I went through it again, spent hours on it again, fixing grammatical errors and fixing a little bit of the chronology of the history because I put some events in the wrong place. So I fixed that. When you write a book, I don't know how many of you wrote a book, but when things come out of here, it doesn't necessarily come out in the final order of the book. You know what I'm saying? So I wrote certain paragraphs like on my phone. Some I typed on my laptop. Some I had to compile all that information in order. So it's not as easy as you might think. I'm at the law library in the Superior Court building in downtown so-called Providence, 250 Benefit Street on the 8th floor. Yeah. With even with the grammatical errors in the first book, I was dealing with it for so long. I was kind of getting tired of working on the book. So I was like, this is good enough, right? How important it is because a lot of people just don't know the stuff. So then although I was serious the first time, it was just like I would go to sleep. Working like I would be on my laptop at night, a bunch of books all over my bed, right? I'd fall asleep, then wake back up and do the same thing. So it was like I was getting tired of that cycle of, books being everywhere because I'm referencing everything and making sure, make sure everything's on point or as best as I can get it. So I was just tired of working on it for months and getting a headache. Peace on. Let me show you the gods walking in, fezzed up. Peace.
Watching you.
Oh yeah. Peace. The European piece. Let me not trip on any of these wires.
You have the paperwork sheet that we was talking about in the meeting? Yes. Oh, that got
Oh yeah? Did they say something?
She said she took it. She's like, Miss Oxford, when it comes back down.
Well, you got the right to bear arms. So.
I know.
Metal detector and everything.
Bear and keep.
Not gonna get it in today. Like, all right, we'll get that away back out.
Yeah. Bear and keep.
More showing up. It's hot outside. If you don't want to be on camera, just let me know. Even though you're already on camera. Blur out your face or something.
Watching all the
Yeah, right, bro. Right to privacy, my bad. F your privacy.
We gotta change those practices.
Yeah,
Broken back.
Oh, did y'all see the website? Go on your phone. Yeah, go on your phone. Everyone said Islam on chat. Everyone's saying peace. More people about to show up. Can you show what type of what to type on the paper for my name. You can go to rvbaypublications.com and they have the name correction papers. I'm late in inquiring how or where to purchase your book. You can get it on riseofthemoors.org. Hold on, let me see if I can type that in. I don't think I can type it in. Can someone type it in, please? Riseofthemoors.org. I can't type it in. I don't know why. Let's see. What else we got? Philly.
One word, right?
Yeah, yep, one word. Riseofthemoors.org. Did everyone get the email on the trust document? Did y'all get it?
No.
Oh yeah, I was in class, so I don't even do it.
Oh, but yeah, he sent it out to everybody. You guys didn't get it from the class that day?
I'm pretty sure.
Just to make sure you're on the
The
email.
website is fire. Thank you. Thank you. We worked hard on it.
I'm pretty sure I have it. You guys sent it out?
Yes, I did.
Check right now. When was this sent out? Last week?
Yeah, last Saturday.
Yeah, I got it.
Cool. You should have got the.
With the message, I think it should have been on.
Yeah. You should have also.
Meeting from Thursday?
The-
It was all on the same email?
I just got that actually.
Oh, all right.
So
all right.
when I
Yeah.
I think Light Bay said, I just got that.
Wait, were you talking about when you asked her? Were you talking about what we sent to Gina?
No.
Oh, okay. Because like.
Me and her, remember you sent me something, and me and her started emailing back and forth with that, and me and her work with that.
Oh,
I know they're busy, so I'm
Yeah,
not,
yeah, yeah.
I didn't.
I was just making
control
sure I
that.
wasn't,
Mine.
failing on my part.
No, and I didn't want you to think that either.
Yeah.
Because that's what it looked like from the other
Also,
side,
thinking that, no.
from guys who didn't know any better.
Yeah, because
She's
you were.
aiding me in habeas corpus.
No, I get it, I understand, it don't need to be explained, I'm just saying what it looked like from
Yeah.
people
Did
who
you get the-
wasn't fully in the circle.
Did you get the writ of prohibicio?
Um, yes, I have.
'Cause that-
Actually,
It said it's
have all the
Rise Up
documents
the
in
Moors.
it. I've already sent out from.
Rise of the Moors
One
on
word.
Yep, Rise of the Moors on one word.
Choose one with
Correspondence.
M-O-R or
her
M-U-S.
documents to follow.
I think it's
Yeah.
M-O-R.
M-O-R-S.
Yep.
His name Zaid is how you pronounce his name, right?
Yeah, he's on his way.
Alright, because I gave him a writ of prohibicio
Yes,
too.
you gave him a- I
So
already
you
have
need,
it.
yeah, look at that, because let me show how much love is in this room. You know what I mean? All the love, you know what I mean? Got the youth, you know what I'm saying? The youth. My little track, my little track with that. Nah, how you doing? You don't know me no more? Alright. You don't know me? You in a bad mood? Can I get a hug, please? Fine, I want to hug you anyway. Oh, please. Put a little fez on. You get something?
Yes, this is number 6.
Oh, you got 6 children?
Oh,
Yeah.
but this is number 6. Read girls' books.
You don't meet girls. You don't know how to meet girls.
Yeah.
You got all boys?
What else we got? You don't remember. I meet a lot of people, so unless I see your face, I'm not really good at names. Can I still go to the NFL with my correctional name? Yeah, you have the right to self-determination. They can't say you can't be this. That's you. Peace. There's my family. Oh, I'm Renee. Renee's here. Do you know anything about the temple in New Jersey? No, I do not. So you say if you proclaim your nationality and have Section 8, they can't put you out, and or if you're renting, you don't have to pay rent. I'm saying if we enforce the rights, but they can't kick us out of anywhere, and we don't have to pay them anything. That's what I'm saying. It's not just declare your nationality; you have to be competent. And competent doesn't just mean you have information. Competence means you have people backing you, who support you, and y'all doing it together. Because the nation doesn't stand alone. Sovereignty does not exist with one person. Sovereignty exists with the nation. So again, caveat emptor if you're going to do anything. Oh, Robbie's here too. Peace, Robbie. Name correction. Only in the right person, though. Yes, only when you're in propria persona sub juris or in propria persona. Anything positive for Texas Moors. I don't know what that means. Any other questions? Any other questions? Thanks, y'all. Please book all that good stuff. Thank you, brother, for having a live feed that I can attend from my home here. Detroit, cool piece. Colonial title, where do you get it? You create it. But you can. I did a video on it. Also, RAM gives out flash drives with that on it. What is that? I don't. Another mic.
I thought y'all wanted to do like.
I know, right? Scaring people away.
Everybody seems like, oh, Jesus Christ.
We don't want to do business with y'all.
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
Yeah.
All right, like I'm in trouble going on.
How can I get a flash drive? You gotta add Dr. Naila on Facebook and ask her. Wait, yeah, you gotta ask her.
Why?
Let me see if
Come to
this
class and we can get a copy.
yeah, or you can come to class and get some info.
Should do one with the
Facebook names, please. Facebook name is Naila Gilliam. I don't know how to spell it. Mic plugged in. Can you hear me? Mic check. Mic check. Can you hear me?
Seen Raleigh a few days ago. Jumped off the bike and I already knew he was in the contest.
Yes, you can. Great. All right, cool. Islam Moore, have you authenticated the birth certificate? No, I have not authenticated the birth certificate. The birth certificate, because if I can speak today, right? Because if you read General Civil Orders of June 10th, 2014, excuse my face on the camera. Let me go to this document. General Civil Order, you got it? Great. If you read this, General Civil Orders of June 10th, 2014, by authority of the Pope Francis, who owns the United States Corporation Company, who owns all birth certificates and then their signature and stuff like that in sale, right? If you actually read it, you will see that due to their semantic deceit and fraud, right? Because these states, hold on, let me, I'm working in a small area right now. So, because these states and federal entities have all functioned under conditions of non-disclosure and semantic deceit. This is why you see like so-called black people saying, oh, you're talking semantics, because they're trying to fool you. Serving to promulgate fraud upon the organic states and the American people, that's you and I. They are all to be considered criminal syndicates to the extent that they have been aware of their status and have failed to correct their operations and representation. So, meaning they've been aware. If you go to sos.ri.gov, civics and education, then go to Rhode Island history, they admit that the original name of this land was not Rhode Island, and they admit that the people were branded Indians, meaning they're not Indians, right? So continuing, all contracts held by these organizations, or assumed to be held by these organizations, are null and void for fraud. These contracts include, but are not limited to, contracts for sale, for labor, for trade, citizenship, power of attorney, license, mortgages, registrations, and application agreements of all kinds. So that includes birth certificates. All signatures of American state citizens acting under the influence of semantic deceit, meaning civil mortuus, right? Or you've been fooled, right? And non-disclosure are rescinded. So you can't authenticate something that A, you did not create, and B, is fraud. That's like saying I was born with a hand, and then my hand got cut off, so now I got a fake hand. Now, you know, that's a real hand. You can't make something fake into something real. So there's this thing with mics. I hate when people have mics on and you can hear their throat and their lips smacking. So let me know if you can hear that, because I'm going to listen to this video, and I hate that. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, it sounds gross. So if you can hear that, let me know.
All right.
Peace, everybody. Just gonna watch the video. Peace. Nope, can't hear it. So you can't hear me? I don't know. People were saying it could. Oh, you can't hear. Okay, you can't hear the grossness I was talking about. Great, thank you. Is that the moto proprio from 2014? No, that is not the moto proprio, but that can be talked about with it. Great, thanks everyone. Great, thank you. So yeah, that's why no birth certificates get authenticated around him. 'Cause- So let me take you on a little trip, a little field trip around this law library, so you can see how grand it is again for you late bloomers. Low battery. I literally just unplugged it and it says low battery. Let me show you down there. This place is beautiful. American jurisprudence, corpus juris secundum. Check this. Where's this one at? Oh, caveat emptor. Read that. So you see why the prophet said caveat emptor when it comes to this, Moorish Divine National Movement. Where is the one? Oh yeah. I guess it's like a standard law library. I don't know. Well, let me see.
Yep. They have everything. The markets, cars, and tools to move, anything.
We talk-
This is how much these, the frame of mind, like there's a lot of stumbling blocks when it comes to these wars.
The mindset.
Yeah, the mindset.
What was I gonna say? That's why we talk so much about trust, like creating your own trust, creating your family trust. So like when you mentioned the birth certificate, you created your own certificate of birth.
Or record of birth.
Trust.
Hmm. Yeah, so like in my Drill Society document, I put the case law in that says there's a difference between an individual person and a corporation. The former, meaning the private person, doesn't have to submit their records to anyone because it's private. So I don't need to know how many people live in your house. The U.S. Census Bureau, how many people? They call you, how many people in your house? How many children you got? That's private information. That's the trust. The trust is everything that's related to my family is private. I'm not talking about that.
So I've written up my trust. Are you sealing it for me?
No, it's yours.
So I gotta
You
seal
put your
it.
own.
It's your
family
private.
seal.
If it's for your family, it's your
When
private
it
crap.
comes to making the seal, like I can design the seal whatever I want, just like I.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the
have
seal
to
on my
do
book?
drawing.
That's my family seal.
You design it.
Yeah, I didn't get no one else
And then so
permission to
certain-
do that.
When people buy the book, that's the same seal we put on the book package.
Yeah. So he asked me. I don't know if you can hear
You
him.
get it like
Well, he
it's,
asked me
It's certified from us.
with his family trust. Does he need to get a seal from me? I said no, because it's his family stuff. I have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying, so when you're creating your family trust, it's for your family, so it's private. My hair looking all messed up. What else questions? Salud. I can't turn this camera sideways because it'll stop.
All my allergies went away. Everything. Not a
Hmm?
there's like a
Yeah,
like
but it's YouTube Live.
significant difference. And
Yeah, so it won't
affect
record sideways.
So here's what I realized with Taj is absolutely 100% correct. They're going to try to starve us out. Because when you when you find out how to carry the body, when you start to head in the direction to carry the body correctly, you find out that there's no minerals. You need 62 minerals a day to function at an optimum level, according to our formalism and profiles. According to them, they tell us, "Oh, take these stem cell vitamins." And
Yeah.
when I did the research, we're living off of 5-6 minerals a day.
Can I add on to that, please? That's why they teach farmers to remove rocks from their soil, because you get minerals from the rocks. And you see, like, I worked on a farm, they were digging up huge rocks. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
So we've been up there on a mineral hunt prior to the bike, and then we just added this to it. We've been hunting minerals, so. And when I found, like, the burdock root grows wild in Turtle Island.
Yeah.
But they have been spraying weed killers everywhere. When you do the research, anything they label a weed that is invasive and just grows out of control, when you check the books, it's food.
Yeah.
And it
I
has
think that's why
how
the
much
burdock
minerals in
root
it.
That's how you become raspberry.
So we're
Raspberry bomb. I was gonna bring some, but
spraying weed killer and going to the supermarket.
They just grow
What's in
like
the supermarket?
planting them.
Yeah.
Plant they just grow like that.
yeah, I planted one and it grew like that. Same thing with my strawberries. I planted one and
And
it just blew
they
up.
run out of something.
Huh?
Whatever's in the market that they
What do
can
you mean
run
dry
out
out?
of, you
But it's
can't go
just a
somewhere
real
and
whole
they can
strawberry,
find
put
it
it in the
growing
ground.
wild. It's not real.
Someone gave me so raspberries and strawberries. They just keep planting themselves, so you dig one up.
Right now,
So same thing like when you're cloning weed
coffee.
or
is still
cannabis, you
growing
take
wild.
one from the mother plant and then plant
Just
it.
stick it in the ground.
Yeah, and then it'll just
Still
grow
growing
again.
wild.
I did the same thing with. You can do that with any plant, not just weed.
You
I did it with a grapevine.
can't, that's nature.
That's
what
that's dope.
Yeah, you can do it with any plant.
weed. If you.
That's why I said right to indigenous people have the right to all our medicinal plants, because they say, you know, some plants in Jamaica they can't bring up here. Like, how plants illegal? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, plans from another
Yeah,
place.
they're playing us because
They blockading us, right?
Well, I already got this.
Whatever you don't need.
Yeah, I got this. I gave this one to you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, hold on, I'm just.
I just printed it all.
Nah, yeah, you know, everyone. I got this.
Right now that is so sought after over the world. It's one of the most.
I have this.
That's for anybody, 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 this is
I have
for anybody.
this.
And it's from
So,
Kenya.
for the past
The
couple
original
of weeks,
potato is from
we've
Kenya.
been coming to class.
It's
This big,
So,
like little clumps of doodle. Perfect. And now we have Idaho potatoes and potatoes everywhere around the world. This big.
Yeah.
Potatoes, in my research shows potatoes only use.
I have all this.
That's
Great.
amazing.
So you don't need none of that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you onto this now. I appreciate it.
Went to the Kenyans to learn how to grow them.
Oops.
This was only there.
Yeah.
Kenyans would
So,
start with-
Big ups to the Moor, giving everybody info. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff happens behind cameras that you know not everyone gets to see. But just in case you thought it was just me putting in work out here,
I even found seeds that are older than the seeds we have today.
So what I was doing is, every couple of weeks we come to class and we hear them say Article 1, Section 10, or Title 28, subsection, so, or whoever wants. So instead of just hearing the numbers, if whoever
You can
wants
look
to
it
just
up.
take it and read through it and understand what he's saying when he says these, I've just printed them out for everybody, so.
yeah.
Thank you.
I've
Grab whatever you want.
The Confederation,
Yeah.
Open Rights. So I know when you recite these articles, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
when we
this
was
is the
going to
same
school and they
thing,
wanted us to
Yeah,
memorize
and
the
they're
Bible
sideways like that,
and
that's
be
one
able
package.
to quote
See how
the
this is?
passages from the Bible. This is the same thing.
This is
So when you read these things
package.
over and over again,
And get out mine.
you
Now
just-
this is a different, if I had, I would have stapled them together.
I
See,
mean, I'll take
this
those
is
for
2 pages, but it's one. This is 2 pages. This
Let me
is
show y'all some of this
pages.
action. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of Moors just be doing videos sitting behind a camera in a room by themselves. How you putting in work in a room by yourself? What work you putting in? Right?
Yeah, if you want, but I just separate them like this because this is one package and it's the same.
So anyone making a video talking crap about anyone, how come they be in a room by themselves though? I don't get it. Talking about they're so smart and educated, how come they're in a room by themselves? The camera's facing me. So.
Oh yeah, nice. We can just definitely.
Yeah, sit in the corner.
That's the same package you just grabbed. See how I said it?
Remember, keep
It's like that, you know.
keep posting where you're from so other Moors can get in contact with you, please.
Article 1, Section 10, but then there's.
Can you put together a flash drive of instructions for paperwork for instance, where to send. You can get all that on rvbaypublications.com. You just have to read.
So anything that's
People,
shared in one page,
trust me, Moors have so many flash drives, so much information. We've given Moors ask questions because they don't read.
one page is like that. Anything
Read.
that's just a
All you gotta do is
single
read.
sentence, just hold that.
Go to rvbaypublications.com, and most of your questions will be answered because you'll be thinking about them and you'll answer it yourself. Just like in the Quran, it says, if you look for a savior, his name is self. Yeah, or you can go to risingmoors.org.
Trust document.
Yep. Yep.
That started that.
What's this one?
He's speaking on Shalem or Bay, I think. Who's speaking on? I don't know.
This is all the same thing, just in
Will
one
Barack
page.
Obama Executive Order 13603 ever affect the Moors? I don't know that executive order off the top of my head, so I can't answer that question.
Yeah, so you can show people the case, bam, 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 and then at the end-
Yeah, and you can get books on rvbaypublications.com. So if you're wondering where I get all this information from, over here, I read books, and then I wrote one. So if you want to ever know about stuff we talk about in class, you can get my book, or you can just read other books and then get the answers.
Just grab a section off the top, there's like 3 or 4,
But,
the same thing printed out there.
Some Moors don't want to do the work, and they expect others to do the
Ever
work
see how
for
that's
them.
separated like that?
Then when you read the Quran,
Now
it
that's
says
the whole
those
package, the rest of it's all
he who was
copied
busy picking everyone else's weeds don't have time to pick their own. So a lot of Moors complaining, certain Moors don't answer people. Like, you should see my inbox, you should see my Gmail. I can't answer
The same
every
thing
single
always.
person
Yeah, it's the same thing all
all the
over
time.
again. Yep, you
Because
just
I'd be
grab
busy
one, if you
doing
want
this.
something different, they're all in separate
Busy
separate files. It's just
with the people.
grab.
People in my area. So if you're wondering why Moors don't talk about codes and statutes in your area, it's because that's your area. Take responsibility in your area. And if you need Moors around you, that's why you come to people, like Sabir's channel. He always asks, if you're in an area, put your territory out there so other Moors watching can know. So I got that from him. So if you're in an area, let the Moors know who are here. We got Moors from Mass, right? Where you from in Mass?
We up there, we're further north since Narragansett goes way up. New Hampshire, Lowell District, Massachusetts District, which is Narragansett County, right by the Merrimack River on the other side of the Wampanoag Territory. So
Yep. So
we're right up there.
So why don't they
if you're in a
say the
so-called,
We literally down the block. We down the block from Cujo.
yeah, down the block from
Shout
Cuba.
outs to Cujo. Candyland Moore.
So if you're from so-called Massachusetts, on the border of so-called New Hampshire, they're in so-called Lowell, Massachusetts. You got a email for them where they can reach you at? They got us. You got an email that they can reach you at? You want to
Yes.
comment your email on YouTube? On the Facebook. What is this? YouTube.
Yeah,
It's YouTube. Yeah. So let them know where they can reach you. So
So
put your email.
I'm at. I'll type
Yeah,
it.
yeah, type it. What is Joel and
I know,
Yeah, we was on that meeting.
I typically text Tony.
Any Moors working in South Africa to help with the problem of European buying up most of their land? I'm not in South Africa, so I can't answer that question. Unless that was for the chat. They can answer.
Just so people know what I'm talking about.
Who's not a
So
new
you
Moor?
separated each one?
So that
You made it.
the package of that.
Oh, you're talking about Shalem Moor.
And this,
Yeah, Shalem Moor. Shalem Moor does have a political background that can be beneficial to our nation. You're an idiot.
Thank you.
Oh, peace, there he is. I'll be right back.
Be right back.
I don't want to take the whole shebang with me. You gotta take the laptop.
Is this all one? Or did somebody separate
This
it?
is mine, this is the
Okay.
same as this is the same as this is the same as one of each.
Okay.
It just goes from here. So, this is that. So, you jump it back, different today?
How you get that?
Huh? You serious?
I mom gave me this a long time ago. I
Yeah,
don't know what
Like, I don't know.
Try that one. That boom.
My mother lived in Ethiopia for 10 years, so
Comes in handy with that.
What else we got?
now I have, like, my father lives in Ethiopia.
Why-
I have him send stuff like this.
Why you don't
Because my mother
sell
left-
fez hats on your website? Because I don't make fezes. If you make fezes and you want to sell them on my website, we can do a contract. You know, we can work something out. But I don't make fezes. I can't teach, write books, make fezes, make trinkets. You know what I mean? Like make clothes. I can't do all that. One person. That's why Noble Drew Ali said there's more than enough for everyone to do. There's more than enough.
I'm wrapped within the
Jamal, why don't you have a new computer? Why don't you have a good mic? How come this? How come that? How about you take your place? Yeah, bring it, donate it. Like, I'm one person. y'all are funny.
Why don't have all the funds?
Yeah. How come you ain't rich? How come you ain't rich?
Yeah, how come you ain't passing out pheasants?
yeah. Oh man. There are cities for under 400,000 that we can get together and put allodial titles on whole cities for people.
All right.
What? Wait, you gotta wake people up first.
For 400,000?
Yeah, but they have to wake people up first.
Everywhere in America.
I don't think people understand that. The
That
Euro-
land would engulf us.
Hold on, the Europeans didn't take our land. They took our minds. So if you're gonna claim land, you got to teach the people. Like it's not that complicated because people are named after the land, or the land is named after the people. Either way, someone named that. So you gotta teach the people that hey, you're home.
So just type it in the chat.
Yeah, type email, type. So Leonidas is about to type his email
And your location.
in the chat. Yeah, in quote unquote Lowell, Mass. So if y'all in the so-called Massachusetts area, contact him. Well, yeah, back to the land thing. The Europeans didn't take our land; they took our minds. So if you're gonna claim anything, a city, a patch of dirt, you might want to teach someone first, so you can protect that land, spiritually, physically, etc., etc., etc. Good questions, great questions. I'm glad to see y'all enjoying this. Let me scroll up, see what I missed. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Shalay Moore was elected. Well, no. Taj was elected, then Taj selected Shalay Moore. And we all agreed, so that's government in action. Are there Morenos on the African Horn of East Africa? Okay, that's Africa. Yeah, so Shalay Moore was selected, just as I was selected, and Taj was elected. Yeah, the way I was able to reach my immediate family was I started, my cousin, who was a female, I started to teach her. She dealt with a lot of my BS, and she's still dealing with a lot of my BS. And she's able to reach other women in my family. It's just taking time. 'Cause, you know, just like when the seed is germinating, it takes, quote-unquote, time. You can buy it wholesale. Buy what wholesale?
Pheasants?
I guess.
You can?
No.
What was done by the Great Seal? That appointing, election, and what have you? That's not a sentence.
It's not proper sentence.
Yeah, which makes it not a sentence. They are hella new and unstudied though, mostly learning only what I've talked about. I don't know what you're saying.
Hold on, update my YouTube right now.
Please read that. Please sit down. Oh, okay. Never mind what you said. There's a lot of comments. I feel like we should move our capital to the other side of the map, where the people need the most help. What?
Have fun
What?
with that. Have fun with that. We're trying-
Wake
we're
the
trying to get
people
this
up.
started.
That what? Just start teaching. Peace.
It's like-
What did we do wrong that allowed the Europeans to take our minds? We started following after their idol gods. Like when you do research here in Nahiganset, in my book, you see the European Roger Williams came into our confederacy, split the Pequot against the Nahiganset, and then we started fighting each other. Look up in Al-Andalus, you see the Moriscos and Conversos. The Europeans always use us to fight against ourselves. Look up the movie Belly. And you see the same thing. Look at what happened with Malcolm X, Al Hajj Malik, Al Shabazz. It's the same thing. The Europeans use us to fight against ourselves. That's how we fell. So let's take responsibility and stop fighting each other.
Separated them like this. So when you see it, that is that's a package of that.
Noble Dry League brought us something that we can't tear up exactly. The movement will tear you up exactly. Peace. You welcome back. Hey, where you at? Boy, pop out. I don't know. I haven't. Oh, that's Leonidas right there. What's that, Mr. Fisher Price? Ridiculous. Most people are waiting on us to do something to join.
I looked at it, I commented earlier, and I looked at it, I'm like, damn, I gotta see it.
Tell them who showed you the way of Moor. Oh, Rob, my cousin Robbie, introduced me to Moor science. I've said this before. He came from New York. First he called me. I didn't want to answer the phone because I just felt something big was about to happen. I felt like I had to do something when he called me, so I didn't want to answer. Then he called about 3 more times. Then I answered. Then he said he's coming from Soho, New York, down here. He stayed in my house for a little bit. Then we started talking. At that time, I had my natural locks. I think I was working on a farm that time. It was 2016, something like that. Then he showed me this video by Kaaba, Dr. Kaaba Hiawatha Kamene. Hiawatha is the prophet of the Northeast who united the Iroquois Confederacy. Boom. So if you do research on Hiawatha and the Wampum Belt and Prophet Dekanawida, then watch the intro to Black Panther, it's the same story. So my cousin Robbie put me onto Dr. Kaaba. He's talking about the Moors, a 2-hour lecture. It was dope. And I was like, I need to learn about what he's talking about. So I kept searching YouTube and Dr. Kaaba, Booker T. Coleman. Then I seen the lecture with him and Taj, and I was like, I seen Taj talking about connotative linguistics, denotative linguistics, and etymology and more science and how it relates to law and how we don't own crap and all this stuff. So I was like, I need to know what he's talking about. Then from there I found R.V. Bey, then Cujo, then Rami Salam El, then Ramai Il Bey, Moreno Bay, RVBaypublications.com, King Lynn Moors, all that stuff. That's how I found. And that is the person who introduced me to it. My cousin. Moors need their own private jet. Moors need to know that they're Moors first. Because they think that they're black.
I like it.
New York is all about that jazz, and California is all about that funk. Ridiculous. I don't know. If anyone wants to research, you go to your local law library and learn where some books are. That's a place to start. The true question that I have is that, first off, I was born Sufi. Cool. Wouldn't Noble Dry League be more of an arbitrator or a Minuteman like George Washington? I don't understand what you're asking. Yeah, when Taj speaks, it definitely does slap your spirit right in the face. Like, oh shit, I am a hypocrite. Oh shit.
I was going at Taj.
Los Navaldor. I love you too, Robbie. No, Renee. Let's say I'm boarding a ship. Do I announce myself as a Moor? Well, the first issue is status, so of course. Well, when I was in the Marines, in order to board the ship, we had to show our card to the person, and then we had to ask permission to board. Then they give us after we'd salute the flag, and then we'd go in. So if you're gonna go anywhere, the first issue is status. Who are you?
This is a former representative. They beat him up, broke his arm, this time.
Thank you. Was Shalay Bay part of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People signing? What? I don't think you understand what the UN is. What does George Bush and Shalimar Bay have to do with the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People? I don't understand what. I don't get that. I'm not trying to be offensive, but that doesn't make sense to me. Off days, everyone randomly grab a book in the law library and thumb through the pages till you find something that suits you. Yep. Yep. You know, the savior itself. So everyone's here.
Zaid have problems
Parking?
to get in.
The way to get in, go to the
Yeah.
bottom of the
Someone
hill?
wanna go down and meet him or something?
Yeah, you want me to go down and meet him?
Yeah.
Tell him to go down the street so the guy has the one way.
Just go down the hill. There's a bunch of one ways, so you might
Oh,
want
yeah.
to. You trying to get them lost.
The courthouse only has 2 streets, right?
Down the hill with the big pillars.
Trying to get them lost. Go to the street that's one way.
over there.
Yeah, you're gonna be near my house. Why would you write like that? Oh. The problem is we aren't used to seeing our people face the beast. Yes, because our people rely on European jobs, they rely on European fiat, and they rely on the European God. So anytime a dark-skinned person says we're not black or goes against the European, which is their God, they have a problem with it. Just like if you go against my mom is my God, I'm gonna have a problem with you. It's literally that simple. Literally. It would be great, family, too. We need to come up with some ideas on how we are to get into contact with one another to dispense information that cannot and possibly should not be dispensed publicly. Well, yeah, that's why this trust that our group is going into, I'm gonna cut the live off because that's private. So do stuff like that. That's how you get it done. Are you regulated in chat right now?
Huh?
Are you regulated in chat right now? Oh.
Why you want me to get in?
No, it's just it said message deleted. I wasn't sure if you was doing that. So again, please, if you haven't, type in the chat where you're from, and maybe an email so other Moors can get in contact with you. But if you're a sellout, don't do it. If you're dirty, don't do it. Disclaimer. So do we want to wait a little bit more until?
I think it's Zeke's and Zaid. I think that should go.
We're still waiting on Joel and his wife, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen them since the State of the State.
Yo, is it good to keep it? Never mind.
Good job. Jamal, you should have Dane Calloway as a special guest talk about history and compare notes. No, I'm good. I think you should listen to what I say and listen to what he says, and then you do the comparative analysis and then compare it to other books. You know, come up with your own stuff. Peace. Peace. My phone is literally plugged in and is dying. Then this is a new phone. I got this.
There's no more out on out.
No, it's plugged in. No, it's just the phone.
Yeah, but computer charges is slower than
No, trust me, it's the phone.
No, I know that. I'm saying,
Yeah, you're right. I'm at Mecca. Are you talking about Mecca in North America or Mecca in Africa? The other Africa, Asia Minor. Thanks for being live. You're welcome. No problem. Share it. We got 68, 69 now. I think we had 70 before. No, I'm good. I wasn't doing that to be, I'm just saying, like, study what I say, study what he says, but don't just listen to what I say. Get books, because I always reference books. Like, I don't think Dane Calloway referenced books. He just says things. Hold on, let me take this mic off. Trinity. Mother, Father, Son. Yeah, dope.
What he said.
Huh?
Yeah, he's usually the best it is.
Yeah.
Going like that, go around.
We get back on. I just
How does one contact a consul in the Virginia territory? Go to MoorishAmericanConsulate.com. Hold on, I'm not sure. Whoa! Trying to knock me. Let me see if I have. I don't think I have the directory on my computer, which I should. Let me see. Thanks for the live feed. You're welcome. Information, family, aka no dirty more stuff. Well, you just gotta weed. If you hold everyone to constitutional principle, you weed the dirty mores out. Let me see. I don't think I have it. I thought I did, but I don't. But there is an email with a list of councils on it. I just don't have it on my laptop. But if you go to MoorisAmericanConsulate.com, it should be there. And again, I'm not speaking negatively on Dane Calloway. I don't know the dude. Excuse me, but I've seen some of his videos and I haven't heard him reference one book. Who was in Shaka Maxim? I'm pretty sure Setenrod Bey is. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he is. I'm like 90% sure Setenrod Bey is in Shaka Maxim, so-called Philadelphia. Oh yeah, my cousin Robbie's in New York. He just commented his Gmail. So Moore's 101 coming to him. Appreciate the HR 5444, right? So that proves that this current Congress is pretty much backing everything that Tashreeq Bey said, everything that pretty much studious. The current Congress just backed it. Tripoli is Philadelphia. That's interesting. Dane Calloway speak truth, but he needs a push because he don't talk about law. That's his fault. You can't talk about truth and then not talk about law, because history and law go together. So how is it true? How is he speaking truth if history and law go to talk about law? I'm not saying he's a liar. I'm just saying, how does that make sense? And again, I don't have any personal animosity towards him because I don't know him. Understand the politics of things. I'm from Atlantic City, New Jersey, and currently in Las Vegas. Cool. I don't understand. I guess I missed your question. Is there any Moors in Philadelphia territory that holds a consul position? If you go to fezprovince.com, I'm pretty sure they're close Philly. That's Mother Delilah, Brother Isaiah. So if you go to fezprovince.com, I'm pretty sure that's the name of the website. He don't know. You can't know history and not know law.
What is that?
I feel so lonely out
Put it
here
on the table.
in this.
Now, this is the one I don't see.
What do you think about the SF-181 change status? How can you go through someone else's cross-claim self-identity? You can't go through. You can't do the SF-181 when they're restricting your options and stuff like that, and then say you said I'm this, because no, they they give you restrictions. They said you can only be one of these things. Self-determination is the key. Self-determination. So when you do the name correction, you're not doing it under RV Bay. You're not doing it under anything. You're doing it as self, because you have the right to self-determination. Peace, peace, peace. Blacks won't be broke no more in 2021. Blacks will always be broke. Yeah, you misspelled it, but it's all good. You can't claim to be black and then claim to be free. Literally, you can't. You can't own crap and be black either. No more 9-to-5s. Well, yeah, but you gotta claim a nationality first. You can add your own box. I'm Asiatic and more with OMB. How do you check anyone's boxes and just tell them who you are? Why are you going under them? So I just read General Civil Orders of June 10th, 2014, which said all their contracts are void, but then you're going to fill out their SF-181 to do a correction on their crap when all their stuff is void. So how does what what did you miss? Peace from the UK. SSN changed and everything. What? So the social security number is a fraud, right? But then you changed it to something else. So you change a fraud to another fraud, right? Because you can't, like I said before, if I lose this hand and get an artificial hand, I can't make that artificial hand real. So how does that? Okay. What do you think about the white South African farm murder? What do you mean by that? Are you talking about Europeans claiming to be white, or are you talking about Africans who are really white and they got murdered? What are you talking about? So they renewed it. Yeah. How do you renew something? Oh, I made it extra fraud. I put extra fraud on top. So how do I full man in the dividends that are in the account? The account is a fake. It's a closed account. So when you look up the SSQV of 1580 and then re-edited in 1666, that's dealing with the Inquisition against the Moors, and they're claiming our stuff, right? So what they did was they put debt instruments on us at birth called the birth certificate with a homonym or homonym, which is a name that sounds like ours but is not ours. Like there, and there, three different things. Night and night, two different things. Sea and sea, two different things. They're two different things, right? So it's something that they created, which means it's not yours. So how do you authenticate that? You, anyone of you watching, cannot authenticate Jamal's book because you didn't write it. You cannot claim a social security number or a birth certificate that you did not create. The money associated with that account is your energy, because remember, they took our wealth, which is the real gold and the property, by putting mortgages on us and giving us private commercial paper. That's the wealth. How do I attain the dividends, my straw man? I just said that. It's not your trust. You can't control something that's not yours. You don't have any say in my book because you didn't write it. You don't have any say in that SSQV account because it's not yours. The estate is yours. The land is yours. The corporal hereditaments, the physical buildings, the physical land is yours. The incorporeal hereditaments, since that land is there's nothing there, I can put a building and sell things. That's incorporeal hereditaments, the intellectual properties. That's what you need to focus on, not something physical, because you're not going to get anything from Rome because Rome has nothing to give. You wrote me a letter? You wrote this? This is the front? This young brother, I don't know if it's paused. Is it paused on your screen? It's paused on mine. See, you see what they're doing? As soon as the youth comes in and he wrote a dissertation on what Noble Drew Ali did. I mean, not a dissertation, but he did a synopsis on what Drew Ali did. How old are you? 9 years old.
That was for school or for home?
No, he just did this just now.
Yeah, he was literally just now doing it.
He said Noble Drew Ali came to tell people that they're not colors, and then gave them instruction to stand up against the Inquisition. A 9-year-old is saying that.
You got a lot of knowledge behind him. It's waiting to come out, man. It wants to come out bad.
Yep, telling them to stand up against law that's not real. Go ahead, go ahead. Say again? Say again?
Get both sides and they start war, they be dead.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's exactly what Prophet Dagana did. That's exactly what Yeshua did. That's exactly what Muhammad did. Look it up. The tribes were warring. Then the Prophet came, unified everyone. That's what you just said. That's what Ali did. That's what Muhammad did. That's what Dagana did. That's what Yeshua did. That's what Buddha did. That's what Confucius did. He's a 9-year-old is son in you. This is his handwriting. Nine-year-old son in you.
I like the fez. I like the fez.
You see the fez is sauced up. He knows that's his eye of Allah because he know Allah and man are one. His father must have been teaching him something good. Hold on, it's inverted, isn't it? Let me show you what this 9-year-old wrote. Feel free to pause that when the video is posted. This is beautiful. Is this mine? Are you giving this to me? Thank you. What's your name? You got an appellation? Oh, a title? Bay. There you go. Beautiful. Is this yours? Let me add this to my other collection.
Smart young man. Smart young man.
Wow, look what the youth is doing. The youth doing synopsis. Peace. Oh, you're leaving? Oh, peace. But this is when Noble Drew Ali said sheiks are born, not made. Peace.
Enjoy your travels.
That was beautiful. There was like a energy that kind of just like sitting in the room, right?
Thank you for that energy.
I'm happy. That just made my day. Like, I'm done for today.
And this day always brings positive energy.
Right?
My week. I love coming to
Saturday,
this day,
that's what I did.
And that was top.
That's Baal. That's Anu. Right? That's El. That's Saturday. Saturn. The Sabbath. Oh, Salute.
The conductor.
No lie though, this
Yeah.
I'm a very like emotional filled person. I'm Scorpio now. Check it out my sign. Scorpio. So
My whole thing lined up in Scorpio.
Yeah.
My moon's in Scorpio too.
Yeah, so this thing has helped me when it comes to like control.
And what is it?
One of those.
And it's the rock that the sister married Alvin. The sister that came to the house.
Yeah.
The stone. So one day I left the crib without what did I have that day. I just felt like pressure on me.
No, chill.
And I realized like, oh, my neck is.
She said I'm an Aries.
Do you know what kind of stone it is?
Yeah, because you know, when you read like any books, it always talks about purification through fire.
You got it through the site, or you just seen her at the
Carbon
class?
666.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how that's right.
Good job, young Moor, right? All cardinal signs, you know. Well, yeah, I'm an Aries, so spring, you know.
Something big with the copper wrapping on it, right?
I kind of like how we're not really doing a class right now. We're kind of just together.
Yeah, give me time to read.
I like it.
Getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing too. That'll help us.
Know who's who when we need to make decisions, you know?
Someone said that gave them so much confidence. Seeing a 9-year-old just do a little synopsis on what Noble Drew Ali did.
Real quick.
Just over there, like.
Yeah, not even enough power.
Noble Drew Ali said, if you want to change people, change their literature. A 9-year-old schooling you. That's huge. Because I know adults who don't have confidence and don't want to write stuff down on paper. Don't want to type nothing. Don't want to read nothing. Like a 9-year-old did that. Power of the number 9, right?
Power of number 9.
Let me get another. She was in the room. So you know. But you see Moore's always, huh?
As soon as it comes.
Yeah, for real. You see Moore's always talking behind a camera with only them in the room. It's not just me in here.
You are in the room.
I know, but it ain't just me.
We're all scared.
Um,
We be out and about.
eat right, think right, act right. Yep. All right, so we've been going for 100 minutes. So I'm gonna sign out and get into this trust with everybody. So thank y'all for tuning in. Please share. Study, study, study. Where did you buy your hat? I got this Morse Fez from Larterer.com. LARTERER.com. What was I saying? I was saying stuff about stuff. Oh yeah, study, study, study. Let me just read this from Quran, right? Chapter 3. Unity of life. I'm not going to read everything. No man lives unto himself, for every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will love and not demand love in return. There are two selves, the higher and the lower self. The higher self is human spirit clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires, is a reflection of the higher self, distorted by the murky ethers of flesh. The lower self is illusion, and it will pass away. The higher self is Allah and man, and will not pass away. The higher self is the embodiment of truth. The lower self is truth reversed, and so is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. The higher self is mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life. The lower self is rich in promise, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell. Their cores are full of bitterness and gall. If you would ask me what to study, I would say yourselves. And when you have studied them well and ask me what to study next, I would reply, yourselves. He who knows well his lower self knows the illusions of the world, knows of the things that pass away. And he who knows his higher self knows Allah, knows well the things that cannot pass away. Thrice blessed is a man who has made purity and love his very own. He has been transformed from the perils of the lower self and is himself his higher self. Men seek salvation from an evil that they deem a living monster of the netherworld, and they have gods but are but demons in disguise, all powerful yet full of jealousy, hate, and lust, whose favor must be brought with costly sacrifice of fruits and of the lives of birds and animals and humankind. And yet these gods possess no ears to hear, no eyes to see, no heart to sympathize, no power to save. This evil is a myth. These gods are made of air, clothed with the shadows of thought. Your imagination? People fear what they don't know. The only devil from which men must be redeemed is self, the lower self. If man would find his devil, he must look within. His name is self. If man would find his savior, he must look within. And when the demon of self has been dethroned, the savior, love, will be exalted on the throne of power. The David of the light is purity, who slays the strong Goliath of the dark and seeks the savior, love, upon the throne. Peace, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Again, if you would like to buy my book, go to riseofthemoors.org, visit rvbaypublications.com, morrisamericanconsulate.com, fresprovince.com. All the good stuff. Peace. Now I gotta figure out how to turn this off. Oh, there we go.